Hey guys, tonight, episode 111, and we talk the WWE Draft. We talk about the Wednesday Night Wars, which are fully in swing. Seth Rollins finally makes it as a true babyface in WWE. Bound for Glory is on deck, and I'm going to tell you why this one is a historic one. 2 new Ring of Honor World Champs, and the NWA has been brought back from the dead. Literally, holy shit, there's a lot of fucking wrestling to talk about today.
Welcome to Orsini's Uncensored Mind, and now your host, AJ Orsini.
How the hell is everybody out there? This is your boy, man, your job soul brother from another mother. This is your host of Orsini's Uncensored Mind. This is AJ Orsini, and I am here once again, bequeathing unto all of you episode 0111, triple ones here. If you roll that in any game, I promise you it's bad luck, but not tonight. Tonight's good luck for you. It's episode 111. My goodness in hell. 2-year anniversary show just went up last week. Before that, we did the Torres family deal. So this is actually it's been a pretty good 2 weeks for me. But I am dolo here tonight at the House of O, sitting at the table with the equipment out. I just found out that my very expensive headset has a left side out, or it's sizzling and popping here, so that's a problem. I have to shell out some dough pretty soon on a replacement. But it's working right now, as you can clearly hear. It is absolutely working here. Real quick, we're going to knock some things out here because, boy, do I have a lot of fucking shit to talk about. Because I did the Torres family interview, I didn't get a chance to talk about any up-to-date pro wrestling stuff, and I did the 2-year anniversary show last week, and we kind of got on a different topic. We did some promos, we did some storyline stuff. I just kind of wanted to keep it fun, light, and general, and something that the group can discuss openly and fondly, and it went really well. It's a really cool episode. I'm actually really happy with it. But tonight, we're taking care of some business. We got some business to take care of, because I'm going to tell you this, I am behind a lot of shit. I talked for weeks about getting ready to see AEW and NXT on broadcast television. I did all the prep work, and I got none of. I did all the foreplay, got none of the sex because I've been busy. I haven't had a chance to talk about anything that I've seen. So we're gonna do some stuff about that. I did say a few episodes that we were gonna limit, I should say, our WWE discussions, but of course there was a draft that just took place. There's some recent news happening, so we're going to get into some of that as well. But we're going in other places as well. We're going to do a little New Japan tonight. That's right, a little New Japan. We're going to do a little Impact Wrestling. We're going to do a little Ring of Honor. There's going to be a lot of different things here discussed on the episode today. So we're going to do a full-scale, all-around the world pro wrestling program here today. This is going to be Pro Wrestling Day here at the House of O. We're going to get into a lot of shit. But before we get into the wrestling, let's pay just a few bills real quick here. For those of you who have not heard the scuttlebutt, if you haven't heard the news, I'm glad to update you on this. Pro Wrestling Tees is having a sale, y'all. I wish I was making this shit up. Somewhat. I somewhat wish I was making it up because it's such awesome news. It appears to be false, but it is true, my friends. Pro Wrestling Tees is having a 2-year anniversary? What was the number that they had for the sale? Yeah, I got the picture right here in front of me. There's a sale going on at Pro Wrestling Tees. It's an online sale. 20% off of literally anything. Anything on the Pro Wrestling Tees store, which, as luck would have it, I happen to have something on the Pro Wrestling store. I have my shirt. The gray tee is on ProWrestlingTees.com/AJOUM. 20% off of the t-shirt. All you need to do is head over to that website I just gave you and use the promo code RETAIL, RETAIL. Use that code and you can get 20% off the t-shirt. It also says here every order gets a free Pro Wrestling Create Overstock Wrestler's autograph, which is an 8x10. That 8x10 is going to come with the shirt. That's not coming from me, folks. That is coming from Pro Wrestling Tees. They're celebrating their 2-year anniversary sale. I thought they've been around for a lot longer than 2 years, you would think. But no, they have been around for 2 years, and they are giving you guys 20% off everything in store and online. I just recently found out there was an in store, so that's pretty cool. You won't find my shirt in store. You will only find my shirt online at prowrestlingtees.com/AJOUM, AJOUM. As you can tell, I'm a little flustered. There's so much to talk about, and I have very little time to do it. I'm going to go the usual 60 minutes, but I have very little time to do it because I'm running around as per the usual. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. That's going to be on sale starting actually it started last night, the 18th, and it runs all the way through till the 21st. So get the gray tee, guys. Get the shirt. Support the show. ProWrestlingTees.com/AJOUM. Another thing I want to hit on real quick. AJOUM.podbean.com is where I upload all the crap. All the episodes are on there every Saturday night now when at 9 p.m. I wanted to confirm that with people because there are some people that I'm happy to say that I guess I lost along the way as far as listening to the episodes. There were a few people who were hitting me up that used to listen to the show, apparently, and was just confirming with me about the day. So I wanted to throw that back out there. That we are, because they were here for the Wednesday days. We're not part of the Wednesday life anymore. We part of that Saturday life now. Saturday, that's when we will, not we will, but that's when the episodes get uploaded. Saturday, 9 p.m. is when it gets shared on Facebook. I want to reiterate again, you have the opportunity to get the episodes slightly early because I never upload them at 9. I always share them at 9. They get uploaded earlier in the day. If you want to hit the subscribe button on Podbean, you can do that. You can download the app or you can go right to the website, Podbean website. I usually leave a link in the description so you can kind of favorite that. But if you go to ajoum.podbean.com on your browser, regardless if it's your phone or because I've done it on my phone too without the app. So laptops, computers, phones, all that stuff. You can head over to that website and still listen to the show. If you don't have access to Podbean, I am on other sources. iHeart, Google Play, Spotify. I mean, all of them. Just name all the big ones. I'm on all of them because I'm super awesome at what I do, so I'm on all of them. And I worked really hard to get on those. So if Podbean is not working out for you, all you need to do is check out where you get your favorite podcast action, and you can get yourself some OUM into your LIFE. Now let's get into the business of the whole situation here. Before we talk about pro wrestling, I got something I got to share with you guys because I need you to get back to me on this. I need actual feedback on this. I need you guys to look deep within your souls and contemplate this. Don't just give me a guttural, instinctual reaction and answer and response. Put some thought into this, okay? We're going to talk a little bit about masturbation just real quick. This is just a quick, casual, we're adults. We can have this conversation without giggles and laughter, okay? This is an adult conversation, okay? If you're underage, you shouldn't be listening to the show anywhere because I use no words. But if you want to really carry a conversation, an adult conversation, then you're in the right place. So masturbation, let's talk about this for just a quick second. I know we got a lot of wrestling to get to, but I need to get this off my chest. And I don't mean physically because that would be weird, gross, and inappropriate. But I mean metaphorically speaking, masturbation. Let's talk about this. So somebody at my job, and I'm not going to talk about the shoot job. We're going to leave that out because who knows, right? Who listens to this fucking show? But the shoot job. So someone got busted. This is a true story. Someone got busted at my job for masturbating. They got caught masturbating in the bathroom. Okay? Stall situation. I mean, that's risky. That's a risky jerk. You need to be more cautious with your meat. You shouldn't just be all willy-nilly out in random places just jerking and pulling. That should be, me, I'm more... Okay, let's have a adult conversation. I'm a romantic masturbator, I like to pamper myself a little bit. Dim the lights, candles, the whole shebang. I treat myself like a king, okay? And I think some guy furiously just scraping the skin off of his beef in the middle of a bathroom, that's just not very respectful. At least not to yourself. It's not a very respectful situation to be in. right? So the gentleman got caught. The reason why I wanted to share this story, I don't want to just tell you about some guy who just whacked his mole for zero reason other than the fact that he was either bored or preoccupied with some other visual he couldn't get rid of. His situation was very, very interesting because they made it, for some reason, it became a public thing, as in we were all told about this. This is how I found out. I did not see this man or this man's meat at all in any incarnation at all whatsoever. But it was brought to our attention because apparently this gentleman feels mildly, really uncomfortable with the situation, as well he should. I don't know if it was embarrassment, shame. I don't know which emotion was going through. But whatever emotion he was going through, I'm sure he was going through it with a clear head, because there's no clearer head than post-nut. But it was brought to our attention that this gentleman had done this, and he wanted to put it to a vote as to whether or not what the punishment would be for the action. Now, I wish I could tell you what the punishments were, like the options, right? I wish I could tell you what they were, but I couldn't, because I left immediately from that room because I was trying to stifle laughter, and to be honest with you, in spite of my laughter, a bit of confusion took over me. Okay, a bit of confusion, which is why I wanted to put it to you guys, so you guys can help me out with this. How in the fuck does this come down to a vote? Shouldn't this be like shouldn't there be a blanket penalty in place for public masturbation? Shouldn't there already be some sort of company policy letting you know if you get caught twisting your knob in the public area where people can either see or hear you, if this is, X is the punishment and this is what's going to be served regardless of seniority or popularity or whatever the case may be? Because now I think what you're doing here by making this a vote is you're basically saying, based on his popularity, we will decide as a group, like an episode of Survivor. We will decide to vote him and his meat either off the island or not. And I at first I stifled laughter because I thought to myself, well, this is just silly. But then I gained confusion because I thought to myself, are they really making this situation a popularity contest? Are they really doing this? Okay? Are they really saying that, yes, he did a bad thing, but we're going to leave it up to the group as to what the punishment's going to be? Because if he's a really popular guy, then the punishment probably won't be that crazy. If he's a really nasty, douchebaggy type of dude, they're probably going to hang him by his dick somewhere and just let him bleed out. So it all depends on, what kind of life this man has led. And now, after confusion, I turned back to concern because I started looking upon myself. And I started thinking to myself, what kind of popularity do I have at my own job? Do I have the capability of getting away with jerking off in the bathroom? And I put some serious thought into this, and I started realizing that I don't have enough information. So I started asking people, not specifically about masturbation, but just trying to get an idea, a clear view of where my popularity really stands. And I spoke to a few people, rubbed a few elbows, tried to get some info. You know how that goes. So anyway, I'm confident that at the end of my research, at the end of my interviewing process and meeting with people and gathering all the intel, I've come to the conclusion that I am at least a 2 to 3 nut guy. 2 to 3 nuts. I think 2 guaranteed. I think I can pull, no pun intended, pull this off at least twice. The first time, I'll get the slap on the wrist. The second time, I might get a punishment, but kind of like unfavorable. I might be able to sneak in a 3rd nut if it's like a holiday situation, maybe, or like one of those oopsies, I didn't know you were in the office type deal. It's like rub, 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 oopsie, like Gerber baby type style. So I was just kind of trying to narrow it down numerically where I would land on this masturbation scale, and I'm confident somewhere between 2 and 3. I'm pretty confident that I'm popular enough at my job to get at least 2 nuts in. At least I can get 2 situations out of this, possibly a 3rd. I know this isn't spades. I'm not trying to call books here. I'm just saying that I can possibly get a 3rd nut in. It's very possible. So that's where I stand on that, and I wanted to put that to you guys. Should this have been a vote? Should this have been a vote? Should this have been put to the tribunal, so to speak, or should they have just quietly put this guy into some sort of punishment situation and gone on about their day? You let me know. And also, let me know what you think your masturbation number is. Do you think that your popularity at work is that good where you can get more than two? Or do you think your popularity is so shitty at work you get hung the minute it happens? Your number is zero. There's nothing. I'll never get away with that shit at my job. Yeah, and if you're gonna tell me your number, I would love to hear your occupation because I think the number also depends on the job, right? Because if you worked at a car wash, you could probably get away with a few nuts depending on the clientele. But if you worked, I don't know, like at a fucking hospital, it'd be really hard to spend time. Like if you're like an emergency room doctor, you get caught masturbating in the bathroom. Like you've got to figure out how to prioritize your time better than this. There's people bleeding in the hallway, for God's sakes. Put your meat away. My God, think of the lives you could save as opposed to the lives you're killing all over the floor and picking up with a tissue after. It's disgusting. You need to look deep within yourself and you got to be better, dude. Find something that makes you better. My God. Anyway, let me know what goes on with that. Can we talk about fucking pro wrestling now? Yes, let's talk about fucking pro wrestling right now. Let's talk a little bit about it. Let's talk about, I'm going to go at random here because I have a whole fucking bunch of shit going on over here. Two new champions. Let's go the other way with this, okay? Two new champions were crowned at Ring of Honor. And one of them in particular, I definitely want to talk a little bit about because there's a new gentleman by the name of Roosh who is now the Ring of Honor World Champion. And I got to talk about this. Two new champions, hold on, crowned at Ring of Honor. Yeah, I want to bring this. I had it in front of me a second ago, but I had to do some new shit here. There we go, yeah. All right, so Roosh has become the new Ring of Honor World Champion. He defeated Matt Taven at Death Before Dishonor, and I'm sure there's a number attached to it, but I can't remember. But the other person, Angelina Love, won the Women of Honor Championship at Death Before Dishonor to a mixed reaction. Roosh, not so much mixed reaction. I think a lot of people were kind of on board with that. I don't know if they were on board with it because of him or on board with it because it just wasn't Matt Taven. And I wanted to talk about this in particular because I'm curious as to how many of you even fucking knew that there was even a fucking pay-per-view, that the championship was even on the fucking line, or the fact that the championship has even changed hands. Did you even know that Matt Taven was the champion going in? Do you even know who Roosh is? I think Angelina Love in this situation is the more popular of the two. Yeah, Ring of Honor is not in a very good situation right now, which is very unfortunate because Ring of Honor for a long time was one of the top promotions in the world, right? I mean, in the world, they were by far one of the most highly anticipated, most like going to those shows were big deals. I remember for a fact seeing a lot of my personal friends, even workers in the business, just elated. You know, they're just like, this is going to be fucking awesome. I can't wait to go, blah, 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 blah. And I was even psyched for the fact that I found out on my cable network, I have Spectrum, that I have Ring of Honor on television. So it's not enough that I have to DVR Raw and SmackDown and NXT and AEW and Impact. Now I have Ring of Honor on my fucking DVR. So I set all these things to all these things to fucking record on my DVR. All right. Luckily, I'm in a relationship where she doesn't give a shit about anything that's on that fucking DVR. Thank God. My wife doesn't DVR like fucking anything. There's nothing on that DVR that's hers, like at all. There's some shit in there for my son, and then a bunch of shit in there for me. And I'm very fortunate that I'm in that situation. But I put on the show, and this was like just before Death Before Dishonor. This was during the build-up to Death Before Dishonor, and I'm watching the show, and it doesn't have any feel to it at all whatsoever. I'm not saying the matches are bad, and they have a lot of good talent, but there's just that magic, that something in the air when you went to a Ring of Honor show is just fucking gone. It's fucking gone. I didn't watch Death Before Dishonor. I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't watched Ring of Honor in general in a long time, which is why I was so excited when I saw that it was on my TV screen, but I quickly became unexcited when I was watching it. There's not a whole lot going down in Ring of Honor right now. The buzz that used to be behind it, the anticipation behind everything, it's fucking gone. let's go through just real quick, just to prove a point here. Let's go really quickly through the Death Before Dishonor card. Jeff Cobb defeated Brody King. Marty Scurll defeated Colt Cabana. There's an old head name right there. That's part of the number one contenders tournament. PCO defeated Kenny King in the other one. So I guess the final to be the number one contender. I'm assuming that's the number one contender to the Ring of Honor World Championship. Marty Scurll and PCO, two members of Villain Enterprises, will be in the final. I'll get to Marty Scurll in a second. Angelina Love defeating Kelly Klein for the championship. I am now understanding that she dropped it back very recently, so that's a great booking there. After the match here, Maria Manic, okay, Jonathan Gresham defeated Jay Lethal. That's the match that has to happen, and that's the outcome that has to happen, and I feel so bad for Jay Lethal. I think I said this a few episodes. It's Jay Lethal, the Briscoes, and then it's just everyone else, and it really doesn't, because Jay Lethal's been champion for 8 million years. To put the belt back on him at this point is not going to get what you think out of it. So I'm glad that he's pushing it on, Jonathan Gresham. He's an awesome person and an awesome performer. But the Bouncers, Brawler Malonis, and Beer City Bruiser, defeating Silas Young and Vinny Marseglia. I'm trying to rush through this to get to my point, but these names are crazy. Anything Goes, Barroom Brawl. The Bouncers won that one. Shane Taylor, who has been engulfed in controversy over the Ring of Honor Television Championship, defeated Hot Sauce, Tracy Williams, and Flip Gordon to retain the TV title. The Briscoes defeated Lifeblood, Mark Haskins, and Bandito to retain the titles. And then there you go, Roosh defeated Matt Taven for the Ring of Honor World Championship. And when you watch this, I didn't see the pay-per-view, so maybe the pay-per-view is different. But watching that episode made me curious, and I started watching other clips from other shows from Ring of Honor, and that magic is gone. It is gone. And I'm not saying that it can't come back, but I feel for guys like Briscoe and Lethal who signed these deals because they just wanted to give back. They wanted to say thank you to Ring of Honor for everything that they've done, but I really believe this was a mistake on both ends. And I would be scared. I would be terrified to see where Ring of Honor is right now without Jay Lethal and the Briscoes. Because the people that they do have on top is not the same thing. Matt Taven is a fine performer, and he's gotten a lot better over the years. The fans do not support this guy at all. At all. In no way, shape, or form. Which is fine, I guess, because for him, he's a heel, but you know what I mean. He's not getting that support the way that most of those champions back in the day, even the heel ones, would get. It's a really weird situation that he's in, and the contract situation didn't help. And the guy that beat him, believe it or not, yes, I understand it. He's a heck of a performer, and there's people who are going to be behind him. But what's he going to do as the Ring of Honor World Champion? What kind of an opportunity is he going to get? What kind of opponents is he going to get? Which is the next thing, because I think that's one of the problems that Matt Taven had. I mean, besides Jay Lethal, who else was he competing for? Who's the one guy who was going to help him elevate that championship? And I just, it's in a bad position. That entire championship scene, that entire situation is just in a bad place. And I'm not giving up on Ring of Honor. I don't think anyone else should either. I'm going to keep watching. And I'm going to, for the same reason that I keep watching all the other ones. I just want to see how it turns out. And I want to see if it gets any better. Oh, what the hell was that? Oh, my OneDrive is full. My OneDrive is full. I don't even know what the fuck is on that. How the fuck can it be full? One cannot be full if one has not placed anything into their OneDrive. I might have to speak to my technical support on that. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about that Ring of Honor thing because I don't think anybody else is fucking talking about it, to be honest with you. And it's funny because I say that I feel bad for Lethal and Jay Briscoe, and they're like, well, what would you have done with that anywhere else? Anywhere else. Even the next place I'm about to talk about, which is funny when you think about it when it comes to Jay Lethal, but Impact Wrestling is doing some shit. Gotta talk about this just a little bit because Impact Wrestling is in the same boat. I actually think there's a little bit. This is gonna sound fucking crazy, but I actually feel more excited for Impact shows than I do for Ring of Honor shows, and that's not saying much because I'm not really that fucking excited about the fucking Impact shows either. But Impact has Bound for Glory coming up October 20th. Here I definitely have that in front of me. Where is that at? I have so many windows open here. It's ridiculous. Hit the home button here. There we go. We're at Villa Park, Illinois, the Odeum Expo Center, which I'm sure is not the venue that it sounds like when you read that name. But yes, Bound for Glory, their annual WrestleMania-like pay-per-view. Impact has also dwindled over time, which we're going to talk about all. I'm going to hit on all these little companies toward the end here because it's a bigger problem at large, and I hope you're ready for this. But anyway, we're going to talk about Bound for Glory here just really quickly. Let's talk a little bit about this card. A triple threat tag team match for the Impact World Tag Team Champions, the North. Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, who are awesome live, by the way. They compete against Rich Swann and Millie Mack versus Rhino and Rob Van Dam. This ECW thing just will never die, ever. Call Your Shot Gauntlet match. It's a gauntlet match where the winner can choose a championship match of their choice. No names here listed. I'm sure if I did some digging, I could find out more, but I don't feel like it. So if you want to find out more, feel free. Taya Valkyrie will defend her Knockouts Championship against Tennille Dashwood. Six-man tag team action. The Rascals, Desmond Xavier, Trey Miguel, and Zachary Wentz against Dr. Wagner Jr., Aerostar, and Taurus. Singles match here, Michael Elgin versus Marufuji. And these next three matches I definitely want to fucking talk about just real quick. Ken Shamrock versus Moose. Now, I have not been watching the show weekly. As a matter of fact, there's been a few replays ever since it moved to AXS, so I haven't really had a chance to see much of the new stuff here. But Shamrock, my God, Shamrock, back in the ring. I don't even give a fuck that it's against Moose. I actually don't even fucking care that it's against Moose. I don't really give a fuck. This is either going to be really fucking cool, or it's going to be a fucking car crash. Either way, I'm interested. I know a lot of people are like, oh, God, Ken Shamrock, what's he doing back? What's he doing back? No, I'm interested because I'm a rubbernecker. I want to see this shit happening. I want to see this motherfucker show up and do some. Here it is. Here it is returning against Moose. I want to fucking see it. First of all, he's got Sly Stallone like muscles. This dude is still in tip-top fucking shape for his age anyway. He's still in magnificent shape. And I just want to see him run through some motherfuckers. Even if it leads to nothing, I just want to see him do something. And it sucks that it's happening in Impact because I would have loved to have heard that song one more fucking time. His song was fucking awesome. And I want to see that shit again. Another match going on for Bound for Glory is the X Division ladder match. Now, it's not your average X Division ladder match, which has happened before. This is why I meant before about it being historical. This is an intergender ladder match. Jake Christ will be defending his championship against Daga, Ace Austin, a to-be-determined opponent, and Tessa Blanchard. And the funny thing is, the way this has been built up, the way this has been going, I think Tessa might be the fucking favorite here. If Tessa wins the X Division Championship, what does this change? I'm asking that question seriously. I'm not trying to downplay the victory because it would be historic. Especially for TNA slash GFW slash Impact, whatever the fuck you want to call it now. There's never been a female X Division champion. That would be yet another door opened here. But is it? Is it another door? Because you know what? When China won the Intercontinental Championship, and I remember seeing that shit live, I remember people talking. They're like, well, that's it. The door is open, right? I mean, females should be given the opportunity now to compete for men's championships. And it never happened again. Not only did a woman never win the Intercontinental Championship again, I don't think a woman ever competed for it ever again. I think there was some mixed tag matches along the way where the IC title was on the line, but never a one-on-one situation where a woman competed against a man for the Intercontinental Championship. There have been, I think Jacqueline won the Cruiserweight title. Obviously, the 24/7 Championship has gone to women. There's been instances in the past where the situation has gotten, we'll say, better. Right? We'll say it's gotten better. But that glass ceiling has never shattered. It's still not the way that people would want it to be. This newfound equality thing going on in pro wrestling now, where intergender wrestling is just kind of the norm thing now. It's okay to do now. Right? It's all right. It's all part of the storyline. And yet, it hasn't really happened. And for those of you who are on the side of, well, if they took more risks with the women, then we would be in a much better spot. Tell that to Sexy Star and Lucha Underground. You know, that company that everybody was fawning over for so long. Yeah, they did that. They pulled the trigger on that. They made Sexy Star their champion, and it caught all kinds of fucking hell for it. All kinds of fucking hell for it. Okay? So for all these young men and young women out here who are trying to explain to me on a daily basis that we need to see more of it, when they gave it to you, you weren't too fond of it. So I don't. You need to give me the benefit of the doubt here, and I don't really believe you. I don't really believe you. But this could be a step in the right direction. Tessa Blanchard wins. Who knows? Can Tessa Blanchard get in there with the X Division and perform at a high level? Yes. I believe that. Tessa's that good. The only problem with Tessa is Tessa. If she can get her attitude, so to speak, under control, she's going to be dangerous. There's not too many guys or gals who fuck with Tessa inside that ring. There just isn't. She's nasty. She's just good. That's it. She's just really good. So we'll have the discussion whether after the fact as to what happens as far as that, and if it really will open any real doors. We'll see. But we have to wait. We have to wait that out. Main event for the show: Brian Cage defending the championship against Sami Callihan. This is going to be a good match. These two have competed against each other before. They've had dope matches in the past for the World Championship. I know there's a lot of people are just hot and cold on Sami. You know, they either think he's like the biggest asshole on the planet or they think he's like the best thing since sliced bread. I happen to be on the latter end. I think he's one of the best heels this business has, and I think he's one of the few real true heels we have left. And so for that alone, I am hoping and praying hard that he walks away with the championship. And that's not saying anything about Brian Cage. I think he's an awesome champion and an awesome performer. I am a Sami guy. I love Sami Callihan. And not just because he was there at the beginning of my career. I've told that story before. I just love and admire and respect his work. Period. I think the dude can fucking go. I think the guy can tell stories like nobody's fucking business. There's not too many Sami Callihans in the industry today. So I'm that's the way that I'm leaning is that way. I want to see that happen. I want to see Sami Callihan walk away with the championship and just rule with an iron fist over the Impact Wrestling landscape. That's what I want to fucking see. That's going to be interesting to me. Okay, we've got some other stuff here. We're going to head over to the land of the rising sun as New Japan Pro Wrestling has made the announcement after their recent shows. They have decided upon their main event for Wrestle Kingdom 14, which will take place on January 4th in the Tokyo Dome. If you'd like to check out this show, head over to NJPW, 1972.com, I believe. You could also go to the New Japan Pro. They have an app, a network streaming service, much like the WWE. So there's many ways you can do it with English commentary. Or Japanese, whichever way you want to go about it. Me, I'm an English-speaking kind of guy. I'm going to go that way. The last time that I watched Wrestle Kingdom in spurts because I don't have the patience, nor do I have the inclination to be up at 2 or 3 in the morning to watch a 4 to possibly 5 hour fucking show. I don't have it in me to do that shit anymore. So I don't. So I watch it in spurts. I watch it per match. I try to go in match order, however it happened, but I watch it in paces because I don't have the balls to sit there, honestly, and go through it all. But you can if you'd like to. The last one that I sat through bell for bell was and I ordered, as a matter of fact, because I remember it was on actual general pay-per-view. So I remember ordering it and paying for it. I think that was Wrestle Kingdom 9. Wrestle Kingdom 9 was the last one where I was like, yeah, I'll watch it. Sure, fuck it. But they've announced their main event for the upcoming Wrestle Kingdom, which is Wrestle Kingdom 14. And they have decided that the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Kazuchika Okada, will be defending his championship against Kota Ibushi. Now, I've got to applaud. There it is. I've got to applaud Ibushi because he took a risk. You want to talk about a leap of faith. This guy just took. He took an amazing leap of faith. He could have gone with his friends. He could have gone to AEW. He could have gone to WWE if he wanted. He could have. Anywhere in the world he could have gone. Anywhere in the world he could have gone. And he stayed. And he stayed. He stayed in the WWE. And he made it clear when he did resign that he is here to accomplish a particular goal. And that goal being he wants to be the top guy. That's it. That's all he wants to do. He wants to be the top guy. And the problem with that theory is New Japan's already got a top guy. A pretty good one. In Okada. And those two will meet to settle the score. They're going to find out who is the new top guy. Who is the top guy in New Japan right now? We're going to find out. Does Okada still have the swag that he once had? Would he survive Tanahashi? When he survived Omega? Will he be able to survive Ibushi? Or will Ibushi finally be able to make his way to the absolute top and pinnacle and become the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion? You will have the opportunity to see that on January 4th, live in New Jersey. That was a joke. What was that joke that my friend said the other day? He's like, "Where's New Jersey Pro Wrestling?" After I told him that it was New Japan, it broke his fucking heart because he saw the card and got super excited when he saw all the action. He's like, "Oh, I want to check that out. I'm going to New Jersey." He's like, "What the fuck?" No, if you're going to New Jersey, you might want to stop at Newark and then take a plane from Newark to fucking Tokyo, Japan. You dumb fuck. You dumb fuck. You done fucked up. You dumb fuck. Speaking of New Japan, we're going to keep it rolling with this. 2 more articles here that we're going to talk about here from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Jushin Thunder Liger, the legend, and the gentleman who was on my shirt just, what was it, fucking yesterday, because I have a new Jushin Thunder Liger shirt. But he should be retiring on that show, on the Wrestle Kingdom show. He's going to wait for New Japan's WrestleMania to do the big deal. And that's going to be an emotional time for a lot of people. I have said on a number of occasions that I'm not a big New Japan guy. I don't follow it as I do everything else. I don't subscribe to the newsletter or whatever the fuck. But I've got my favorites. And to be honest with you, Jushin Thunder Liger I was exposed to through WCW when I was a kid. Through the Monday Night War, as a matter of fact. And I found out about his New Japan stuff after, because, you tape trading, you do all that stuff. This is back in, the 90s and stuff. So once I found out how fucking awesome this guy really is on the real, I became an even bigger fan. And anybody who's seen anything from Liger recently, they will confirm with you that this guy's a fucking badass. And he's 54 years old. And I could rattle it all off here. It's right in front of me. I mean, this guy, it would take the whole episode. Or no, one out of respect for him, let's do it. It's right here. Yeah, he's competed in WCW, Pro Wrestling Noah, Dragon Gate, and of course New Japan. He won the Young Lion Cup in '86. He won the Nivea Prince Hotel Cup Tag Tournament with Yuji Nagata in 2001. That same year, he won the G1 Climax Junior Heavyweight Tag League with his partner El Samurai. Liger has also held the NWA World's Welterweight, UWA World Junior Light Heavyweight, WWA World Junior Light Heavyweight, WWF Light Heavyweight, and War International Junior Heavyweight Championships. He has been the NWA World's Junior Heavyweight on 2 separate occasions, and of course, the 2-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, 6-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion, and an 11-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. This guy is one of the greats. He is one of the pioneers. He's one of the all-time GOATs, especially when it comes to the X Division or Cruiserweight style. So his retirement will be an emotional day for a lot of people. And of course, on the New Japan end here, we all heard Jon Moxley, due to travel situations with the typhoon, could not make a show. Apparently, this may or may not have been the first time that this situation has occurred where he couldn't make it to New Japan to defend his championship. So therefore, he was stripped of his championship. Juice Robinson and Lance Archer had a match to determine the new champion, in which Archer walked away with the championship. Juice has become synonymous with that championship. He has become synonymous with it. And I enjoy the fact that he's gotten so much better since his NXT days. He's matured. He's gotten so much better. It's good to see him. That's a little tidbit on news. As far as the actual, do I give a fuck about him giving? No, I don't give a fuck about him giving up the championship. To be honest with you, he should have never won it. And I know why they did it. And I get it. It's a prestige deal. I understand that. They're trying to make it more of an actual U.S. belt, as in some of the biggest stars of the U.S. winning that championship. I get it. I understand it. But it's just, this is the situation that you run when you do that. It's the same thing when you put, championships on foreign talent here in the States. You have to be careful with that. And they ran into a similar situation with that. Not huge news, but something I definitely wanted to I wanted to bring up. But moving on from all of that, Marty Scurll I wanted to bring up for a second. I know we talked about Ring of Honor already, but Marty's contract is coming up, so the speculation is already beginning. Obviously, AEW should be a favorite, right? Because that's where all of his friends went and did and started up this company. And you know what? It's funny because Marty signed a deal with Ring of Honor to stay, when he very well could have gone to AEW originally, the first time around. And the reason why he did it is because he wanted to prove himself without the group. And the first thing they did was put him in a group. Now, granted, it's his group. He became he's the leader of Villain Enterprises. But that group has done zero, jack shit for him. That group has not elevated his status at all whatsoever. In fact, I can make an argument, it's probably hurt him. His contract is set to expire, I believe it was November, which is coming up next month. And you got to ask yourself the question, what the hell has happened? What exactly was gained here in this relationship over the course of the year? Because he wanted to stay to excel. And yet he hasn't really been given the chance to fucking excel. So what's the deal? What was the point in all of this? Was it just to keep another guy off of AEW and in the Ring of Honor fold? Who fucking knows? But I do know that Marty is a fantastic performer. And he'll be successful literally anywhere he goes. So let the speculation begin, folks. Let the speculation begin. Let's see where he winds up. We're going to a different place now, folks. We're going to a different place. We're going to the WWE. I know. If you've enjoyed the episode so far and you just can't do it to yourself, that's fine. I understand completely. You're free to do so. But we got to talk about it a little bit because I didn't get a chance to talk about it. I wasn't available. I did the family interview, 2-year anniversary. I didn't get a chance to chime in myself. And I'm telling you, this is going to be quick. Now, For those of you who follow me on social media, and if you don't, you should. It's in the links and everything below with the share on Facebook and even in the description and popping. I said a bunch of times, this match is a fucking mistake. And it became a huge fucking mistake. And of course, I'm talking about Seth Rollins and The Fiend inside Hell in a Cell. Now, I said on social media, I do not agree with the way that they ended that match, but it was not a DQ, it was a ref stoppage. And since then, every Tom, Dick, and Harry who has come on to the fucking social media has all said all the wrong things. First of all, wrong about what a ref stoppage is. Wrong about the fact that the match shouldn't have ended with a fucking stoppage. Or couldn't have, I should say. Couldn't have. Because shouldn't have is subjective. And I agree. It probably should not have. But the fact that it couldn't. People are saying that it couldn't end in a ref stoppage. Also dumb and incorrect. And then there was the whole conversation of, well, you know, all those other guys in Hell in a Cell matches, you know, they didn't get their matches ended. No, they didn't, because that's it. They decided to not go in that direction. In this particular match, they did. Storyline-wise, this is all kayfabe shit, right? So I'm not going to break that down because, fuck it. If you didn't get it, you didn't get it. It's off your head. I wanted to bring it up for two reasons. One, I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but it's a beaten horse. It's a dead horse at this point, so I'm not going to go down that road. But what I am going to talk about, just really quickly, because I've got other shit that I want to talk about, is this infuriating hate for Seth Rollins. And this is why I said I think he's finally made it as a babyface, because the trend over the last, 15 years, that if you're the true number one babyface in WWE, you have to be hated. And this newfound hate for Seth Rollins proves to me that he's finally reached it. He's finally reached the pinnacle. John Cena was the top guy, but he got booed and cheered. Roman Reigns was the top guy. He got booed and cheered. And for a long time, the indie fan and the internet fan, Seth Rollins was their boy. That was their guy. That was the one they could hang their hat on. He was one of us. Ring of Honor World Champion, traveled around the indies. He even got away with using some of his indie moves inside of the ring. He was a top guy who wouldn't rely on the silly 5 moves of doom, which is bullshit. He just has a flashier 5 than everyone else, but it was still 5. But I digress, right? And everyone's sitting there saying, oh my goodness, my God. He was one of us. You know what I mean? Seth Rollins is the real deal. And slowly but surely, people have turned on him. They're hating on him. Little things that he's been saying online, in a relationship with Becky Lynch. You know, first people was breathing down his neck about attacking Will Ospreay, and now he defended, what was that other shit he defended? Best wrestling on the planet, period. People got upset about, and then the end of the Cell match when Seth Rollins puts out their, if Mick Foley and Taker would have gotten their match stopped, I think they would have been thankful for it. It would have put years in their career, just a thought. And everyone just shits the bed. Oh, he's so stupid. Why would he say these things? He's made it. That's it. He's ascended. It's official. Because the internet hates him, he has finally reached his final form. He is truly now the number one babyface in the WWE. Now he has reached that area where he cannot turn heel. For those of you waiting for it, they've got to turn him heel now. Nope. Have you not learned anything yet? The whole they have to turn him heel thing at some point. Have you not learned yet that is not how this business works? I mean, not the wrestling business. I mean the WWE framework. Hating their babyface is not going to change the fact that they're going to still continuously be booked as fucking babyfaces. It changes literally nothing. It's just like when what was it at the end of Hell in the Cell? People were chanting, we want a refund. You want a refund? You want a refund? You want a refund? When fucking morons chant that, I get tickled. I laugh. It's the dumbest. I asked the question online, and I got a few answers, and they all kind of agreed with me, but I would rather get your opinion on it, too. Has anyone ever chanted for a refund and then actually fucking received it? Has that ever fucking worked ever? It's the same thing with the bullshit chant. Bullshit. Okay, you didn't like it. Has that ever affected the fact that it's going to happen again at some point? Is there anything that you can chant that you would receive what it is that you're chanting for? Has that ever fucking happened? Ever? No. You're voicing your displeasure, and that's fine. But for those of you out there who are legitimately expecting, well, I'm going to voice my opinion, and they'll have to change what they're not changing a fucking thing. Nothing. I keep saying this all together. I'm not saying this to shit on fans. I say this all the time. Okay? I am your wake-up call. I am your wake-up call. You are either on board with this shit or you are not. I don't like a lot of the shit that I see on WWE television. But I was raised on this shit. I'm not going anywhere. I am in for the long haul, which is why I don't complain about a lot of the shit that I see. In spite of the fact that I don't like a lot of what I see, I don't bitch about it. Because what the fuck is the bitching going to do? Nothing. Not a fucking thing. There is nothing that the bitching is going to do. At all. Nothing is going to change in this situation. Seth knows that. Seth knows that. So he's just trying to tread water here. He's saying things he is supposed to say when you're the top guy of a multi-billion-dollar industry. When he says things like best wrestling in the world, period. He's supposed to say that. Now, I think in reality he does feel that he's the best wrestler in the world, and he should. He's the top guy. This guy's competing against the best talent in the world on the biggest stages. He has the best argument, to be fair, as to whether or not whom the best wrestler in the world is. He's got a good argument. But you can't include the whole group on that. And I think that's why people are trying to take him to task. But he's supposed to say that. What do you want people to do, especially with Twitter? Because you can tweet these people and get instant responses. What do you want him to tell fans? That he's miserable where he is? That he would rather be facing talent from other places? That would be stupid. It would be dumb. You'd be a moron for doing it. And any of you who tweeted against the things that he said would tweet the same shit he's tweeting if you were getting that paycheck. Period. But since you're not, and you're not worried about it, you're going to call him out on his shit, right? That's what we're going to do. We're going to call people out on their shit. All right, well, he's calling you out on your shit. It's the same thing with the Will Ospreay situation. Yeah, he probably said too much. But he came at people with passion because he's sick of people fucking attacking him all the fucking time. Period. End of conversation. People reply to his shit on Twitter like they fucking mean something, and they don't. Or do they? Because he's feeling the need, he's feeling the stress of it to talk about it on his Twitter or talk about it on TV or whatevs. So there's a lot of situations. That's why I say Seth's made it. Seth is the man now. Now he's the man because now he has more haters than he's got supporters, and that's when you know you're on top. That's a quick indication right there. And it's not helping him or anyone else that they just recently, and we're going to transition over to this now, they just recently had a draft where they moved some people around, they shook things up, all right? They shook things up, and they had this big draft, and I was going to come on here, and I was going to do this big report on the draft and all that other shit, and last week for the 2-year anniversary, we happened to be recording during that SmackDown. So Cage was able to give you guys kind of an idea of who was voted win on day one on the SmackDown show. And I was going to sit here and put a final complete analysis as to who was where and who was on what brand. But you know what I realized as I was putting it together? I don't give a fuck. I don't care about it. And to be honest, to be completely 100% honest, I know you don't either. Because the problem is not the location of the talent. The problem is, honestly, not even the fucking talent. The problem is what you're doing with the talent. You can put Cesaro, you can put Finn Balor, whatever. You can put these guys wherever you want. But unless you do something with them, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter what brand they're on. For as long as they're being booked like a-holes, it's irrelevant. You can put fucking Roman Reigns on 205 Live. It wouldn't make a fucking difference either way. Unless you're booking them the right way. So I didn't give a fuck about the draft. And I don't care who's on what roster, to be fair about it. To be honest about it. I really don't give a fuck who's on what roster. I want to know who's stepping up and coming out of the limelight and doing something different to entertain people. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to see. Good wrestling, good storytelling, good promos. I don't give a fuck what color the brand is. And I know now we have different entrance ways for Raw and SmackDown, which is nice. And the SmackDown entrance way looks really cool on Fox. I get that. But I need different. Bayley's giving me different right now. Different haircut, new outfit, same ass. Love you, Bayley. I love you, boo. She's doing the thing over there on Friday Night SmackDown. Doing her thing. Okay? But this is not the time or the place to be turning on each other, folks, because you're at war. Not the WWE. NXT's at war, not the WWE. Because as we learned from the draft, as I told you, when I told Cage and Ming this before we went on the air, I said, I feel like an asshole because I finally caved. I finally caved. For all these years combating people and letting them know NXT was not a brand. NXT was never a brand. It was always just developmental. That's what it was. That's what it was meant to be. Nothing else. No, nothing more, nothing else. That's it. It was always meant to be a developmental. Okay? And when they got the network television, and when they got the expanded time slot, and then they debuted Finn Balor, so now a talent from one of the main rosters is coming in as opposed to the other way around, I said to myself, there it is. Now it's a brand. And it wasn't but a few weeks, maybe even one or 2 weeks, when NXT gets shit on. We have an entire draft where talent can go anywhere, and you have talent leaving NXT to join these brands, but no other talent going into NXT, no replacements for those people, because it's still not seen as equal to Raw and SmackDown. It's still the bastard stepchild. It's still the developmental system. And the proof is in the pudding. I took heat because I said on social media, this was a while ago, that the NXT show sucks. The NXT show is no good. But the NXT show is perfect for what it's supposed to be. And that's generating interest in certain talents. That's why they have so many squash matches, jobber matches, so that they can build toward an eventual super match between the two guys who are fucking beating up on all these fucking jobbers. NXT is like a 30 or 40 man roster, and they only really care about, 6 in making those people fucking stars. NXT has moved to USA, and they did exactly what the people wanted them to do. They, once again, listened. And they didn't change a thing. And they didn't change a single thing. They left NXT exactly the way that it was. And now it's being exposed. Because this formula does not work in direct competition. When NXT was online and it was on the network only and it was just a streaming site to get talent over so that it could move to main rosters and fill in holes and fill in blanks, that was fine. You cannot put a developmental television show against a show like AEW and expect to fucking win. Because AEW apparently must go to AJOUM.podbean.com every Saturday night at 9 p.m. and they must listen to the show. Because they did exactly what I was hoping they would do. Exactly what I said here on this show, on this program, of what they had, their only advantage. I said going into NXT versus AEW that NXT held the advantage. They've, in my opinion, they had a better roster. overall, talent-wise, seasoned or not, just an overall talent-wise better roster, and they have better production, but they're performing under the same cookie-cutter bullshit. AEW has a weaker roster, not bad, but weaker to NXT. Inexperienced, but they have creative freedom. And if they utilize this creative freedom perfectly, then they can get the upper hand in NXT. And now we're 3 weeks in, and I'm glad I waited because this is what I do. I don't go after week 1 and just start pumping my chest out. I waited a few weeks. That's why I had no problem scheduling interviews and shit. I waited 3 weeks to see how this was going to go, which is still not enough time, but it's definitely enough time to contemplate some sort of opinion towards it either way. And I got to tell you, I can. It's tough, but AEW to me has been the better top to bottom program from 8 o'clock to 10. They're a better show than NXT. However, the best matches that I've seen so far have been on NXT. It's weird. The Adam Cole Matt Riddle match, which, by the way, I've never been a big Matt Riddle guy. I've called Matt Riddle matches. He's a cool dude, but I've never been a big fan of his in-ring work. That was the best match I have ever seen him have. But he also stepped in there with Adam Cole, who I'm sure could get 25 minutes out of fucking me. And any of you listening as well. Adam Cole is a 20-something-year-old wrestling god. And he felt it at the end of that match when he faced Riddle with the whole I'm the fucking man thing he had going in his head. NXT has had a few better matches, but they're not bell-to-bell better shows than an AEW. AEW was out there flying by the seat of its fucking pants. It's just going. It's just doing crazy shit. And it's new, and it's different, and it's fresh. And I don't know if it'll age well because of the speed and everything that it's doing, but it's different. It's fun to watch because you're going to get different looks, you're going to get different styles, you're going to get people doing different things, who talk a different way, who they program it a different way. It's just a different show to watch. So AEW is right now, in my opinion, a better program than NXT. Although, again, NXT I still feel like has the better roster, so they're going to pull off better matches. But I think AEW pound for pound right now is the best show on television. And I was hoping and praying, actually, that it would go that way. And I'm super excited and super happy that it did. I was concerned because they weren't setting up any storylines. And they still haven't really. I mean, for the most part, like no one's. My only concern about a lot of things is I don't know if anybody on that roster can talk. I haven't heard too much talking. I've heard the experienced guys talking. Moxley's, Jericho's. I've seen them talking. But I don't see a whole lot of the talent talking. But listen, it's 3 weeks, man. They got so much time to improve and adapt and get better and get these guys seasoned and get them working hard cam and corner cam. The show is not perfect. If you break down AEW's Dynamite show from beginning to end, you're going to see a lot of fuck-ups. You just are. But none of those fuck-ups are big enough to take you out of matches or to take you away from the programming or anything like that. I could nitpick all fucking day on anything, and I probably have nitpicked on fucking Dynamite since then. I just didn't do it on the fucking air. But it's not a perfect show. But it's more enjoyable than NXT. It just is. In my opinion, AEW is winning the war so far. It's putting on the better programming. But they have the ability to do that. NXT is held by a framework. There's just not too many things they could do outside of their bubble, which is the advantage I said that AEW had. They don't have a bubble. You go out there and just throw shit on the wall and see what sticks. And I just said a second ago that there haven't been any promos. And I'm starting, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm starting to wonder why. Because that Jimmy Havoc promo from the other week, that long, drawn-out, gross promo that he shot, not a fan of the promo. Fan of the guy. I think he's talented. I've seen him do some crazy shit. But that promo was the shits. It hurt more than it fucking helped. It didn't help anybody. It didn't help Darby Allin. It didn't help him. It didn't help AEW. So some of these guys really need to work on being full package players here if they want to be ahead of the game when it comes to AEW. That's why MJF right now is a standard bearer. let's see where he goes from here. Let's see how far he goes, but that'll be big news for him. Definitely big news for him. So AEW versus NXT so far. That's the wrap. That's the report there from your boy Uncle O. He's got or Papa O. Which one am I going with? Uncle or Papa? Papa, Uncle. I'm not even sure anymore. Listen, just always telling you right now. AEW right now is where it's at. It just is. It just is. And I know that I've got friends in both, but still, AEW right now it just seems like the more fun show. And I know my boys Santana and Ortiz are in Inner Circle. I'm going to be completely 100% honest. I don't mind the group, but that group's going to need to gel out. Because it just seems like such a weird group. Like these 5 guys would not fucking hang out outside of the ring. You know, there's just nothing about this group that says group. I don't know if they got gear now. As far as matching shirts, the Inner Circle shirts, which, by the way, you can buy on ProWrestlingTees.com for 20% off by using the promo code RETAIL, which you can also get my shirt 20% off. And my shirt's cheaper than their shirts. Their shirts are $24.99. Mine is just simply $19.99. See that? You save yourself a few extra bucks by going to ProWrestlingTees.com/AJOUM. So, yeah. So NXT versus WWE, that's going down there. One more thing I want to mention before I go off the air, just really, 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 really quickly. NWA Power, the National Wrestling Alliance, has come back from the dead, and I could not be physically happier. I saw that first episode. I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch the others, but I saw the first episode, and the first episode was amazing. Going back to basics here. No intro music, just coming out through the curtain, putting on a pair of boots, putting on a pair of trunks, and competing at a high level. That's some real shit. I love the format because you're gonna see some real fucking talent, folks. Real talent. Real workers that you can't hide through cuts and jigs. Real guys that you have to sit in front of a camera and let fucking talk. No scripts, no writers. Just get in front of a camera and make these fucking people feel. I have a new goal in life. I'm getting back into the wrestling business, folks. I have to. I need to get on NWA Power. I need to be the guy who sits at that podium and delivers the promo of a lifetime. I know I got it in me, and I want to do it. I'm advocating for it right now. Orsini for NWA Power. Let's get that hashtag going because I want to be on that show. I don't give a fuck how that happens. Interviewer, commentator, manager, it doesn't matter to me. I need to be on that program. My life depends on this. I'm 36 years old. I have to have this before I die. I need to be on NWA Power. And anybody who gets in my way, I'm just going to have to fucking bury you too. Don't worry. I could do the show without cursing, by the way. I'm emoting right now because I'm exhausted. But if I was off that podium, it'd be all good, clean, wholesome, family fun. But it would be in a negative way because I'm a bad guy and a heel. So much to discuss through all this. We ran through a fucking lot, and I didn't even get through all these fucking notes because I have to save some of these some bitches. So anyway, that's episode 111, folks. That is a look at the world of pro wrestling right now. I'm glad I got a chance to talk about all this stuff, man. I'm dying. I'm burning up at the sides here trying to get this shit going in, but I'm glad to get it done. So episode 111 in the books. We're done. We're getting out of here. I got shit to do. I'm sure you've got shit to do. That's why you're listening to my show. Again, the t-shirt, you guys already know the information. The freaking Saturday at 9, the time slot. That's what I was going to say. The freaking time slot. Saturday at 9. Anywhere that you find your local podcast, you're more than welcome to head over there and take a listen at that. So thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for sharing. And, of course, thank you for enjoying episode 111.
100 episodes, now pay him.
And make sure that you buy my husband's t-shirt at ProWrestlingTees.com/AJOUM. Please, he needs this.
Listen to my daddy show. He's the best, so I don't know.